So what is top 10 and how do I configure it? This is one of my very favorite capabilities of ProsperVue because it uncovers the really rich prioritization and visualization that you can draw out of the Salesforce data when you start using all the top 10 capabilities. So let's first look at leads. And what we see right here is all these leads are in orange. They all literally look the same, but as we know, leads are not all the same. So how can we prioritize them? Let's first hide accounts and contacts because we're about to see a lot of colorful pins. So this just makes it easier. The top 10 icon is here. And for leads, we have it set up for lead source, status, and industry. And the top 10 feature is best for fields where you have a maximum of 10 consistent fields. So pick lists, for example, are great for this. Fields like phone number, fields where you have a different value for every record are not going to work because what it does is it sorts them into maximum 10 buckets. So think about fields that do that. Before we show how to configure it, I'll talk through a few use cases, one under leads and another under accounts. So to give you an idea so you can start thinking about how your users might want to tease out prioritization and visualization out of the Salesforce data. So if we click on lead source, you can see that the colors all change. And you can see the sources of the leads, which is interesting, but maybe not what I want to do for the use case I want to share with you. So what I want to do is prioritize leads that I want to contact. So I want to do a combination of status and rating. You can layer these top 10 on top of each other even. So let's click top 10 for status. You can deselect if you want. And I want to look at engaged leads, maybe qualified, maybe so I have enough data to show you. Let's just click on working. And so this is where you see all the leads that don't fit those categories go away. Now, among the leads that we have selected, maybe I want to find the hot leads. So let's click on rating and they color code again. And let's deselect cold and deselect warm. So we're left with hot leads. And you can start working this list and calling them if you're inside sales. And that's actually a good note to consider is that even though this is a map-based interface, this is not only for travel. It is actually most often used by inside sales who want to visualize their data, especially if they're also working within territories or in geographic bounds. This can also, obviously, of course, be used if you're planning a trip. So if you want to, say you've been perhaps this layering of these two top 10 fields uncovers the hottest leads that you've been talking with, and you're going to happen to be in the area for a meeting, and this is how you can visualize them, uncover them, and you can contact them now. So that's an example from leads. Let's close out of here and switch over to accounts. I want to show another example over there. So we'll hide leads. Now, similarly for accounts, we want to prioritize, but perhaps for a slightly different use case. Let's say I have these two fields of account type and subscription status. So I want to focus on customers. And I want to focus on customers who are nearing the end of their subscription. So let's choose 90 days left. Expired means their subscription's already expired. Depends on what you want to do. We're pulling out, just for illustration purposes, the 90 days left so we can reach out to them before their subscriptions expire. But if they already expired, you can also choose those and follow the same process I'm going to show you here. So here we have very easily uncovered customers who have 90 days left on their subscription status. And you could also do things like sort annual contract value and uncover those that are higher contract value. This is especially good if you're going to be traveling in the area, and then you can prioritize to contact these. And I should note, you're looking at these numbers, but all of this data is this is fake data. This is contrived, not real accounts or real contract values. So now that you've uncovered these, you can contact them. You can draw a geofence around some of the accounts, and let's say you're going to be meeting up here in the northern suburbs of Chicago. You can select them and you can add them to a campaign, or you can export them to CSV. If you are using a software that's not tightly integrated with Salesforce and you need to contact them, you could email them through another software. So those are a couple ways that this helps you to easily uncover and use this data. You can also click right in the toolbar here and it will add all of these leads. There may even be some off the map. But it'll show all of these leads that show up in this view, or all of these accounts, sorry. It'll add all of them to a campaign or export all of them to CSV. So that shows several examples of how you can use Top 10. You can think about your own organization and how your users use data and which kinds of fields you have that you might want to use Top 10 for, especially things where you want them to have the capability to prioritize. So let's go over here, and setting it up is extremely easy, far faster than it just took to show those few use cases. Let's go into accounts and hit the configure icon, and we will pull down to the select fields area. These selected fields are the same fields that you see here going across. And simply, all you do to identify those where you want the top 10 field, top 10 icon to show is just click here, and it will show up in the header. Now, the ProsperVue system, it has some intelligence behind scenes that is going to detect things like annual contract value has a unique number for every record, so it's not at all useful for top 10. It's going to detect that. It's not going to offer it up as an option for top 10. So that's where it'll take some of those guessing games out of this. So I hope that helps you to see the possibilities for Top 10 and how to configure it for your Salesforce users.